Yeah, 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 yeah. Yo, 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 yo.
I'm about to get the dough. They been sleeping on before. Nigga pop out with
Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. So basically, most likely this laptop I have now, I'll be updating soon to an iPad. So bear with me. That's all I can say. Um, f- anyway, welcome to the latest edition of Minds of Mayhem podcast. I'm your host King Rome. Here's my guy Nova next to me. Like we always say, this podcast is for the wrestling fans only. It's been a great week of wrestling. Here and there's some stories, some things that poke out that we'll touch on a little bit. We had recently with a situation where a former WWE employee basically claimed that her title reign was her as a double champion. In all honesty, she had a unification match. Basically, it was a shit on Stephanie McCure if you think about it, because the people told her your match was a unification match. It wasn't a double title match.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, everybody has their ifs and like want to make the IWC look like fools. They try to.
Right, right, right.
But yeah, but I digress. So, how was your week, bro? I know you be busy a lot, but did you catch up with any wrestling? Did you watch anything? Anything that intrigued you a little bit?
um, Honestly, the only thing that kind of intrigued me was what happened on SmackDown with Heyman, Punk, Seth, and Roman. Um,
And I remember you said you had thought that that was going to be the favor. At
yeah,
one point, it did look like it was the favor until he said that's not the favor.
right,
So we're still questioning it. What's the favor?
exactly, and I think with Paul Heyman, and I kind of sort of called something else too, because he said on TV that they're closing WrestleMania as the main event.
Yeah,
So Punk is finally a WrestleMania main eventer.
all
Finally,
time.
and it's it kind of sort of makes sense because there's no title involved, and then on top of that, it's a triple threat, and on top of that, is long term storytelling because Punk kind of sort of ushered Seth and Roman into the WWE or the main roster rather as the
Yeah,
Shield.
if you think about it, he kind of did.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, and I think that's the other thing that most people are like letting fly over their head because with this, with both Punk, I mean not both Punk, both Seth and Roman, we have to thank CM Punk for this. We have to thank CM Punk for both of their careers because if Punk didn't have the idea of the Shield or whatever the case may be is involving Seth and Roman, we wouldn't have a head of the table. We wouldn't have a revolutionary or an architect or whatever the case may be, is
Architect, the visionary, everything in the book. Yeah.
all of that. So we literally have to thank Punk for that. So it's only fitting that this whole story plays out the way it's supposed to play out. But CM Punk is finally a WrestleMania main eventer. That's all I can say.
Well, since we're talking about it, I figure let's get into the since we're talking about CM Punk and WrestleMania and everything. Let's get into the rundown. All right, so like I said, since we talk about CM Punk, it's only right we continue to the topic. So let's get started. CM Punk is a main event.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, for the first time in his career as a pro wrestler, he is main eventing the big show of WrestleMania after all these years.
After all these
After
years.
10 long years of being away from WrestleMania,
Mm-hmm.
he finally gets his chance to have his big moment. Not only that, he's going to main event with, like you said, two guys who he basically created in the
Mm-hmm.
Shield.
Yep.
Now, if you watched it Friday night, Seth Rollins kept saying, we have to," because we know Seth, he detests Roman. Well, not Roman. He detests Punk to a
Mm-hmm.
point where it's like he's trying to get Roman to help him out again. Basically, Seth, he still looks at Roman as a big brother,
Pretty much, yeah.
and Roman is like, "Look, that's dead and over with. We're not a group anymore."
Mm-hmm.
And I think Seth ruined that. He the one that basically destroyed the Shield.
Yep.
But I think every fan they really wanted to be Roman and Seth in a match single at WrestleMania a couple times. It's
Mm-hmm.
fans that really wanted that match instead of the triple threat. I mean, if we didn't have Punk involved with this match story, I could see it maybe.
Maybe.
But it's
Maybe.
like all with these three combustion compounds come together, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be something. Because think about it. On one side, you got a guy who despises CM Punk, who wants him gone from WWE, who feels like he came back to basically make himself look better and everything. Then you
Mm-hmm.
have a guy in CM Punk who's here basically to not make friends and make money and wants to keep continuing his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you have Roman, who's basically trying to get back on top as the head guy of the WWE.
Right.
So it's three combustion. It's going to be a lot. So it's like I said, I'm happy Punk's a main eventer. It's a long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
So after he said, "Thank you, my tribal chief," all that stuff. Basically, he was trolling Roman. If anything, he was trolling him. Basically, it's like, what's the favor? Because he said that wasn't a favor.
I mean, yeah.
That's the only thing. What is the favor that Paul promised Punk?
Lavinia and Latricia.
I'm sorry.
You want an interview or something?
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're
You
having a
official.
little situation here.
Which call somebody on Lavinia, because Lavinia told her she wasn't going out and she wasn't taking the baby out, and she
Ladies and
called.
gentlemen, we'll be right back in a quick second, okay? We'll be right back.
Family, family.
I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. We had a situation and everything, so we're
Yeah.
back.
Um, what was I saying? Oh yeah, CM Punk. So
We
that
were
I
talking about what's the favorite and everything, so put that back up.
yeah. So I feel like knowing CM Punk and knowing Paul Heyman, um, it you would suspect that it involves a championship. It would have to
Right.
be it would have to be either a shot at either Cena or a shot at Cody, whoever ends up walking out as champion at WrestleMania. So it just that's what it comes down to, and we're just gonna have to let it play out. But I'm happy at the fact that Punk finally gets the position that he worked so hard to get, and that's the main event WrestleMania. That's pretty much all that matters at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to where it's like one, Punk has been dying for this moment for the longest, and like you said, the favorite could be a championship match.
Hmm.
If anything, it possibly for Cody's title, if anything, depending on who wins that match. I don't know if it'll be for like Gunter and Jay's man. I'm not sure. If it is,
Hmm.
that's a weird favorite to ask.
Yeah,
But at
it
the
is.
same time, it's like I said. I think we won't know until WrestleMania weekend. That's when I
Probably.
know we'll know the whole situation of the favorite that he wants.
Hmm.
Until then, it's a mystery.
It's a heck of a
Because
mystery, and
next week SmackDown's going to be in Chicago, which means Punk is likely going to be there.
yup.
So we'll find out even more when it comes down to it. And guys, if my end look like I'm glitching a lot, sorry, my Chromebook is all over the place. Hopefully, I have the chance to get an iPad. Like I said, once I get an iPad, I think it'll be more smoothly than what it is now. So bear with me. Like I said, this is only going to be for a little bit. I might probably have us take a little break until I get the iPad. That way, we have a better setup. But I mean, we'll figure it out. We have time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just that I hate the fact that when we do this show, sometimes it's glitches, sometimes it doesn't.
Hmm.
It is what it is. But let's get back on
It's what
topic.
it is.
Uh, CM Punk.
Yeah.
Thing is, though, you can tell when Paul was giving the announcement that the match is a main event. You can see in his face with the emotion.
Mm.
It made it even more like this is legit. This is like he really wanted this moment this entire time. And for him to have this moment, I'm happy for him because one, he was gone for so long. He got screwed out of main event multiple times.
Hmm.
He got screwed out of it the year it was Cena and The Rock for the WWE Championship.
Hmm.
Got screwed out of it when he was fighting Jericho for the WWE title when it was Rock and Cena again.
Right.
And then WrestleMania 30, he basically left the company due to the booking, basically, which was like I understand because you didn't have him do anything.
Hmm.
Basically, that whole WrestleMania 30 was on the wing because the whole main event shifted all because of Dan Bryan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're looking at it as that base, it's a big deal for the main event this year. Which brings me to this topic. Does the Royal Rumble matter?
That's a
'Cause think
great
about it.
question.
Because think about it. We just had Charlotte Flair and Jake Uso in the Royal Rumble, and it's possible that both the winners of the Royal Rumble are not main event or close out the show.
True.
Now, if we look in last year's Royal Rumble winners, which was Cody and Bailey,
Hmm.
Bailey and Cody were like co-main events basically. Bailey was a co-main event. Then it was Cody with his match.
Right.
So it kind of helped fit that mold of Royal Rumble winners.
Mm-hmm.
With this match, with these matches coming up with Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte, at this point, that match is I don't know what's going to happen with that match. Now the Jay and Gunter match tomorrow night will probably put that match even more because if you notice what they're doing now with Jay, they're making it look like Gunter's in his head. Cause that slip he did was not,
Mm-hmm.
on him. That was like basically like that was very like him. He did it on brand because one, he trying to sell the story of basically him saying is in his head now. He feels like he can't beat Gunter,
Mm-hmm.
so now his big brother got to come here and help him out a little bit, and Jimmy. So yeah, so because if we're looking at history, the main event of WrestleMania doesn't really go to the Royal Rumble winner
It doesn't.
because we have had winners that have won the match
Mm-hmm.
didn't main event the show. A
Right.
la Edge, he won it one year, didn't main event.
Right.
A la who else I can think of?
John
John
Cena.
Cena won it one year.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't main event. Rey
Right.
Mysterio didn't main event the show.
Right.
Um, who else I can think
Hell, even
of?
Undertaker.
Yeah, right. Undertaker. He was in the middle of the show
Mm-hmm.
when he fought Batista for the world championship.
Yep.
So it's like I know everybody is like the main event is like why are we doing? Like I get everybody saying like for Jay Uso should like it goes back to basically saying Jay Uso should have won a Royal Rumble this year. I'm like that don't mean nothing. Just because he won the Royal Rumble does not mean that he doesn't deserve it.
Right.
Now, like I said, with the story he's in now, like I said, it's starting to pick up a little bit of steam because this past Monday, he got in a conversation with Gunter. He slipped up, and next thing you know, it
Mm-hmm.
became a more horror story because it was like Gunter is in his head.
Yeah.
And with Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton, I'm gonna need more, a little bit more, because right now it's nowhere. It's going nowhere. Now, granted, Tiffany
It,
just did a good
it's
promo
yeah.
on Charlotte. I give her that. But since then, this like story between them two has been a dud.
Mm-hmm.
All I
Yeah.
know is for me, I just hope that in the near future, the Royal winners are put in the more of the actual main events.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that because it's been winners of the Royal Rumble that has a main event to show. How you feel about it? Because like I said, does it really matter anymore? Because at one point it
Honestly,
mattered.
it did. It honestly it mattered, but at the same time, I think it's all about instead of it being like the actual main event, they're trying to I think the way we're looking at it as fans is like they're taking the term main event as you could put it on anywhere on the card as far as WrestleMania is concerned. Either way, it's a main event. But if we're talking about like being a legit main event, meaning you're closing the show, you're headlining the show, and the like Jay Uso is a mid card guy since he had a singles run. He's main evented a few shows here and there. Like he's main evented a Raw, he's main evented a SmackDown or two. But as far as like pay per views and all of that other stuff, he's pretty much just living the moniker and not being the moniker. So pretty much, I feel like this year or even years leading up, or probably I'll say any year, but when it comes to the Royal Rumble, it's like the winners are all depending on their position on the card. So, like I said, with Jey Uso being the mid card guy, he wins the Royal Rumble. He's going to be a mid carder on WrestleMania. With Charlotte, she's a main
Right.
eventer, and she was just handed the opportunity to go for number what title? 15 now, I think.
I believe so.
No, 14. She, however
I
many
think
she
it was
won now.
yeah, because she's won a lot, so
Yeah. So
it's giving though.
yeah. So it's like I feel like the Royal Rumble, the winners are all based on the position that they're placed on the card, and they're going to be in that position when it comes to WrestleMania, whether it's for a title or if it's not for a title, or it's weird. It's just really weird. But as far as the Royal Rumble mattering at this point, it's not going to matter because the same people that got eliminated ended up being the main event of WrestleMania regardless.
Yeah, on the men's side, because women's side not
On the
really,
men's side, the women's side is like,
not really.
eh, it's like okay, well, Charlotte won.
Because you got to think about it. On the women's side, the last two was Roxanne Perez and Charlotte.
Hmm.
And right now, Roxanne Perez doesn't really have a story.
Which means she's going to come after WrestleMania, basically.
Most likely, or she'll have one more match at NXT, Stand Deliver, and then that'll be it for her.
Yeah, yeah.
All in all, I mean, we'll see how it turns out because the Royal Rumble used to like when you win it, that means you're main eventing the show. You're closing out the show.
Hmm.
But like we said, it's been some years where the main eventer of the Royal Rumble winner doesn't really close the show out. So, like I said, it's been some years. I'm not gonna say every year. It's been
Hmm.
some years where they haven't closed out the show.
Right.
So, in the near future, like I said, hopefully we'll get some context of like the winners. If they change the quote of the winner of the Royal Rumble gets opportunity at a championship match at WrestleMania, say that. Don't say the main event of WrestleMania because you can't really say anymore.
Yeah, you really can't. You really can't.
So, and
Even
also it's like, it comes down to like what story is the hottest right now going on and everything. And right now, the two hottest stories are basically the triple threat match between Roman, Punk, and Rollins.
hmm.
And then you got Cody and Cena. What
Yep.
basically means is no women is main event WrestleMania this year, which is kind of like we already have. It's already bad enough that the women puts on great shows, but they don't get recognition for it as much.
Yeah, which is yeah.
Which is kind of like it's going to cause an argument regardless wherever you look at it. Because just recently we just had a firing at TNA, which is like a big deal, where
Hmm.
they just fired Gail Kim, who is like known in the backstage, like she's known for having a good voice back there.
Hmm.
If anything, this is my like gripe with wrestling today. It needs more women voices
Absolutely.
because don't be wrong, the men bookers are cool. Don't be wrong, they're cool, but it's always good to have a woman's touch too with this because
Hmm.
if you look at the product today, women are taking over the sport.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
The
absolutely.
Charlottes, the Bianca Belairs, even in TNA, Mercedes Monet, Athena, TNA, you got Masha Slamovich, and like you have so many people. Tony
Hmm.
Storm. There's so many women out here right
So
now that are
many.
taking over the sport. But yet, for some weird reason, you don't have any like women in the backstage, like in the booking or in
Hmm.
the producers as much.
You know what? I honestly I feel like, and I said this about like a number of years ago. Like outside of the women having their own pay per view, they need their own show. Like
I remember you saying that. Only
yeah,
thing is though, when it comes down to their own show, like how do you do it? Because
and see, and that's the thing, because if you like even the women's of wrestling, they have their own show, and that's like an all women's organization. But
yeah,
for WWE to pull off something like that, you gotta really like narrow it down to like time slot, networking, whatever the case may be. Is I feel like honestly, you got WWE, you got Raw on Netflix. Utilize Netflix to its fullest potential. You could put some all women stuff on Netflix. They got Glow on Netflix. Why not? Like
I mean They could, if they want to, they could. But like I said, it comes down to how they're going to do it. There's already been rumors about them having an Evolution PLE again coming up, or it won't be called Evolution. It's supposed to be an all women's PLE coming up soon.
Yeah,
They just haven't announced it yet.
listen, I honestly I would say from Evolution, from the first time they did Evolution, I feel like bless you. I
Thank
feel
you.
like that was just a template okay. That's just a template um of what the women can do in the WWE. Like majority of the women there are talented,
Very,
talented, and sometimes they're underratedly talented. That you got women like you said, Bianca Belair, the Tiffany Strattons, the Rhea Ripleys, the Blair Davenports, the Chelsea Greens, and to take it to NXT, the Jada Parkers, the Lola Vices, all of those women are crazy talented.
very.
And to do them a disservice of like not really allowing them to recreate history, like
Well, just women wrestlers in period, because it comes down to like I said, it's mainly they need more women chairs in the producing, the booking, everywhere. Because granted, yes, the men are in the wrestling stuff too, but it's becoming more and more when the women are being involved wrestling a lot because
hmm
they're taking over. Because you have like that's the thing. A lot of wrestlers that we grew up on, their daughters are wrestling now. Ric
yeah,
Flair's Ric Flair, Charlotte Flair.
hmm
Natalia is a Heart Dungeon daughter.
hmm
Of course, you got Roxanne, who basically trained by Booker T.
yeah,
Bianca Belair was founded by Mark Henry.
yep,
It's like it goes down to like how you do it,
hmm
because they can have somebody in that chair that can be a good booker for the women. Because you think about it, the women booking stories has been a little mid, a little bit. Not, I'm
hmm
not going to say all of them, but like for
hmm
instance, example, we just had a tag team match. It was Kaden Carter and Katana Chance versus the her service, basically, Chelsea Green Secret Service.
yeah, yeah,
And while the match was going, it was like they was chanting something else while they was doing everything. They didn't even care about the match.
exactly.
That just show you, like, for one, we need some better booking for the women. Number one. Then on top of that, you need a woman's voice and touch in the backstage because it's lacking big time.
And the $1 million question is who can you go to? That's the thing because the women that have, I guess you could say, behind the scenes, the women that have really built the foundation for women to even compete are not even in the WWE.
Yeah,
Case in point, Beth Phoenix, Stephanie McMahon, in and out. Then you have um, Renee Young, who's over in AEW doing her thing.
yep,
It's like, who can you really go to like really to because, and I'm gonna say this as boldly and as carefully as I can word it, but you can't tell a female story from a male point of view.
no, you can't.
So again, this goes back to the question like, who do you go to? Like, who can you say like? I would say like give Stephanie a shot, but at the same time, it's like
70 about the game a little bit. So
exactly you can't
if
even
I'm WWE, I'm going to go get Gail Kim.
that. Why
Or
not?
if not, you got Molly Holly in the backstage too. So it's
hmm
like
hmm
like they can add more into it. Like I said, when it comes down to it, we just need more women in wrestling positions where they got the power to give the producing or booking. That's my
hmm
main thing. So we can move on from that to the next thing.
Yeah.
And the next thing is basically involves the Usos. Will Jimmy boost up Jay after tomorrow? Well, what I mean by this is tomorrow or Raw, Jimmy is facing Gunter in a match.
Hmm.
Basically, it's a sacrifice if you think about it. Because when Jimmy basically told Jay, "I got you," he went to Gunter, walked up to him, and smacked the living dog hell out of him. So basically, it's setting up a moment where we might see Jay actually crash out fully this Monday because the story has been lacking
Hmm.
until this past Monday, where we saw them add on to when he slipped up.
Yep. Yep.
Like you hear Pat McAfee say something, then Michael Cole say something, then Jay basically saying you becoming a meme, bro. What's going on here?
Hmm.
So tomorrow night it should be a sacrifice. It's basically like it's basically like saying, look, I'm doing this to motivate you.
Yeah.
It kind of puts you in the mind of remember when Rocky fought no when in it was Rocky 4 I believe, right? When Ivan Drago fought what's the boy name?
Oh, Apollo.
When he fought Apollo,
Yeah.
and Apollo basically got killed fighting Ivan Drago.
Hmm.
That basically motivated Rocky to beat Ivan Drago in the match. So
There is
watching
no
Gunter beat the
tomorrow.
living so watching Gunter beat the living crap out of Jimmy tomorrow will motivate Jay to the fullest. And hopefully, like I said, with the match they have at WrestleMania, if anything, I can see that match being a co-main event or possibly opening. I don't know, whatever. Hopefully, this situation boosts this match up because, like I
Hmm.
said, it's been kind of like on like teeter totter.
Right.
Of course, you still have some fans who feel as though, of course, that Jay doesn't deserve this moment, which is their prerogative, but it sounds
Whatever.
stupid how they're doing it.
Hmm.
But in all, man, so you think it's going to be a sacrifice tomorrow between this match?
I I mean, it would make sense to be honest with you, but at the same time, I feel like this is going to be one of those stories where, um, like you said, Jay's going to have to crash out, and on top of that, like I don't see it playing any other way other than him crashing out because the story is right there. Like the story is at a good spot. It's just they have to add more layers to make the story make sense leading up to WrestleMania.
That is true.
And like it's like the foundation of it, cool. People not thinking that Jay deserved it. That's a good enough foundation. That's fine. It's just now creatively you have to find that pocket of all right, if people think that Jay's not gonna do this, how can we go along with it? You already got Jimmy in, which is also a good thing. If Jimmy's involved, cool. Now it's like with Gunter being in his head, yeah, that's also cool, but we need more layers than that. Like we need more layers from Jay instead of other people outside the the matchup
Right.
itself.
Exactly.
So like I said,
Uh,
it's just a matter of what they what they're gonna how they're gonna play it out within the next coming weeks. Like I said, with Jimmy being as like a sacrifice, it would make sense. It's just how that's gonna play out what matters more.
yeah, like I said, it comes down. This whole road to WrestleMania, it's been like up and down a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie
Hmm.
because, granted, the whole John Cena and Cody Rhodes thing that kind of like started the whole like ride towards it.
Hmm.
So it's like, granted, now next month we have I think what 2 or 3 weeks until WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like we're kicking it in the overdrive basically right now with the matches and the announcements and stuff.
Hmm.
So we have like tomorrow night. I think this will be the last time we'll see Cena into WrestleMania.
If that.
Cause they'll be in London Monday night, so well
Mhm.
afternoon,
Right.
and then after that they'll be back in America on American soil doing the shows.
Mm.
So I don't know if Cena going to be there the next following weeks. I'm not sure. It's possible, but will he be there? I don't know. It's to a point where one. Let's just hope that tomorrow night, that after the situation between Cena and Cody, that we have some more of this, because the last 2 weeks, Cena really hasn't said nothing, but he's been bittering at the Dirty Universe.
Mhm.
He's been like saying, "This is your fault. You're making this just too easy and everything." He really hasn't been like showing like anything. If anything, he's been showing like Cody up a little bit, like
Mhm.
basically letting Cody just talk his head off and then prove his point and stuff like that. So it's a lot with
Yeah.
WrestleMania right now.
Yeah.
But we have, like I said, like 2 weeks into the main big show, which will be streaming. Hopefully by then I have my iPad. Hopefully, if not, we'll still be on here regardless. We'll still be on the Chromebook.
Whatever works.
Yeah, or I'll use my iPhone. Who knows? But yeah, man, it's like also. You heard about the announcement they just announced about they're finally putting matches in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I seen the the Bret
Stone
Hart.
Cold and Bret
Oh,
Hart.
yeah. Mhm.
I'm like, that's actually not a bad idea. They Because the Hall of Fame, it's always been like, the regular Hall of Fame. Then you have the celebrity wing, which they
Mhm.
stopped doing, I think, for real.
Good.
I mean, yeah, because a lot of celebrity wrestlers are not really like it used to be. The one
All right,
person I'd say that should have been a Hall of Fame as a celebrity, Arsenio Hall. Because remember, he had all those wrestlers on his show at one point. He had like Hulk Hogan,
true.
Eddie
That's
Savage. He
true.
had Bad News Brown. He
That
had
is
Big Boss
true.
Man and Slick. He had
Mhm.
Roddy Piper on there multiple times. Randy
Mhm.
Savage. Um, Ted DiBiase. Yeah, a lot of people on that show.
Yeah, he definitely
Sensational Sherry and deep and
everybody.
yeah. So it's like he could. I'm surprised they didn't put him in the Hall of Fame. He should be in there though. He
He
should.
definitely should be like he used his show as a platform not just for music and Hollywood. He also used it for sports and wrestling and all of that. Like during Arsenio Hall's run, that was like the rocket going off for like wrestling overall. It
Yes, it
started
was.
it started to become a part of pop culture worldwide. So it was like Arsenio used his platform to showcase that. So yeah, definitely he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. It's sad that they don't recognize it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it could be a backstage thing. We just don't know about it. So let's just leave it at
Yeah.
that. So yeah, like the WrestleMania year, and like I said, this year has been like I said, with these next few weeks, I just hope they do something, because it's like everybody's been complaining about it lately. They've been
Mhm.
saying this WrestleMania is the big show. You're supposed to have everything done. Even though you're supposed to have everything done, you have multiple weeks still left. It's just that it's the stories that we're worried
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Because even the women triple threat with Bianca, Io, and possibly Rhea, they have a
Mhm.
match tomorrow where Bianca is a special guest referee. It's possible that Bianca might screw both of them,
Might maybe.
and that'll make it a triple threat for WrestleMania, which is
Yeah.
possible. Then, of course, we got another story brewing with Solo and Jacob.
Mhm.
Jacob is great on the mic. It's just that he makes it too look too effortless against Solo.
That man, listen. WWE, you gonna have a problem on your hands with Jacob. That man is vicious on the mic.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got
Vicious.
a brother, right?
Oh yeah. Hmm.
I'm like, you got a brother? Like, how many is it of y'all, man? Enough.
It's like a million of them.
Cause mind you, a lot of these wrestlers are kids of wrestlers that we watch or our parents watch.
Hmm.
Like Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are the kids of what's his
Happy
name?
I
Huh?
think I think it's Haku.
Haku, yeah, King Haku.
Yeah,
Then I think Jacob Fatu is the kid of the Tonga Kid.
I think so. Yeah.
And of course you got Zilla, who's the son of Umaga.
Hmm.
And the Usos and Solar are the sons of Rikishi. So
Hmm.
it's a lot, bro. It's a lot of them in this industry. It's insane.
The bloodline. Listen, people think the bloodline is just the storyline. The bloodline is real, bro.
Very
That's as
true.
real as it could get from the High Chief Piamati to Rocky Johnson, all the way down to 3 Minute Warning, all the way down to The Rock, all the way down to
Well, the
it.
foundation is the Wild Samoans. That's the
There
foundation.
you go. Yeah, there you go.
And the thing is, though, Hot Cheap Here My V was cool with the Wild Samoans, so it just added on to it.
Hmm. Exactly.
It just it's very interesting how they look at the tree and how blood it is. That's all it is. All right, so after Major like talks about it with myself, I figured it's only right we bring this back. Yes, the Kings list. We haven't had a Kings list in almost about 2 weeks now.
Yep. Yep.
So it only makes sense that we have a Kings list. WrestleMania around the corner. Here are my top 5 WrestleMania matches of all time. Kings list. At
Ooh.
number 5, it arguably one of my favorite matches I ever watched it. Even though I wasn't born at the time, I was born, but I didn't really watch wrestling at the time yet. So number 5 for me is Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels IC title ladder match.
Mm.
Come mind you, that match was supposed to, and the thing is though, the history behind that match, it wasn't supposed to go that long.
It wasn't.
It was not supposed to go that long for a long period of time. It was supposed to be like maybe a good 15, 20 minute match. That match went on for a little longer than that.
Put
And
on
of
the clip.
course, the story behind it was Shawn had an IC title. He didn't defend it all the time. So he left, and that's when they had a tournament. That's when Razor won the belt. Next thing you know, both Razor and Shawn had gripes to being the undisputed Intercontinental Champion. We had a great match between them. And the thing is, though, they only had one ladder. One ladder.
Only, yeah. How about that?
That's like I said. That's number 5 for me. Number 4
Hmm.
it's the same. It was on that same card.
Okay.
Bret Hart versus Owen Hart.
Ooh. Okay.
Brother versus brother.
Okay.
This is basically where it all started with the brother versus brother matches at WrestleMania. Because remember, after we had that match, we had Matt and Jeff, and then we had Jay and Jimmy.
Hmm.
The technical specimens between them two going back and forth because we know Bret is like one of the best editions ever. His brother Owen wasn't too shicey either.
Nah.
This is the same guy that fought in Japan. The same guy that fought as the blue what's it
Blue Blazer. Is it Blue Blazer?
blazer? Yes, it was a blue blazer.
Yep.
So it's like Owen knew what he was doing. Owen won the match, which
Hmm.
is funny because the night after that match, Brett won the world championship. It's like you just lost to your brother and now you're world champion.
Right.
Very
Right.
different. All right, number 3. I think it's one of the best matches of both these guys' careers.
Hmm.
And number 3, I have it was Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker WrestleMania 25.
Whoa. And number 3.
Number 3 because I have it's 2 more.
Oh.
Remember, this is me, so I just
Right.
say
Right. Oh man, this I gotta hear.
reason why I have it at number 3 because one, it's the simple fact they both was pissed off at this match. Reason why they was pissed off, they wanted to main event the show. They wanted to close out, which
Understandably
they
so.
should have closed out the show because
Understandably so.
Triple H and Randy Orton was not that great. It was okay, but it wasn't main event quality.
Right.
For Undertaker and Shawn to have that match for that long period, and then the move sets and the kickouts and everything, it was perfect. It was perfect. But that's number 3 on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 on my list, TLC Dudley's versus the Hardys versus Edge and Christian at WrestleMania 17.
Mm.
Specifically that one. They had one at WrestleMania 16, yes, or
Right.
WrestleMania 2000.
Right.
But at WrestleMania 17 one was more classic.
Yeah. More iconic. Yeah. That's.
Yes. From the spear on the top of the ladder and everything. Of course, Edge and Christian, winning the match and everything. The Hardys being the Hardys being the extremest ever. And then, of course, Dudley's, you can't have Dudley on tables.
Yeah. Right.
Then the cameos, you had Rhino, you had Lita, of course. Then you had Spike for the Dudleys. It was so great.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in that match became such a big household name by themselves too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my number 2. Now, one match. Now this match I wasn't born for, but I
Oh,
watched it on DVD,
oh boy.
and it's arguably dubbed as the best WrestleMania match of all time.
Okay.
Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for the IC Championship. WrestleMania 3. That match stole the whole night. It stole the thunder from, even though as a wrestling fan, it'll still the match. It'll be match of night for you, but
Mm-hmm.
it is. It tried to steal the thunder of the Hogan versus Andre, but it still like exceeded expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it. If we look at how both of them wrestle in Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, they're somewhat similar.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
arm drags, the takedowns, the high movements and stuff. At that time, this is when Randy Savage was the best IC champion at the time.
Right.
No, he took out Ricky the Dragon Steamboat or Bell. It just that match alone, I think it made every fan look at the IC title as a world championship.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, the IC title was the workers' man's title.
Right.
It still is. Just that
Mm-hmm.
it's very different than it was back in the day. Like to have two guys who wasn't supposed to be in the main event steal the show overall,
Mm-hmm.
and the show was supposed to surround Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant as the biggest main event ever in WrestleMania, which the hype lived up to it. You said the match was bad overall.
Wow.
Let's be real, Randy. Let's be real. Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant match was like very like eh.
It was. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
had the moment. Of course, the moment of him slamming Andre the Giant was big, yes. But at the same time, it's like the match was like pointless. Because think about it, Andre wasn't as mobile as he was before. He kind of like lost a little step.
Right.
Plus, he was older, and plus, Andre ain't supposed to be losing. He was never supposed to lose. But that night he lost Hogan. That was basically it for Andre. He knew it himself. But like I said, for Randy and Ricky Dragon Steamboat to have that match was way better than Hogan and Andre. From the
Mm-hmm.
story to like the takedowns, the whole. Of course, you had Miss Elizabeth out there. Plus, you had George the Animal Steely out there too. It was crisp. It was perfect. That's my
Mm-hmm.
top 5 matches of all time at WrestleMania. Number 5, I said, I just forgot. Damn.
Oh, you said.
At number 5, Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels.
There you go.
At number 4, I had Owen versus Brett.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, I had Taker versus Shawn.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I had the TLC from WrestleMania 17. And
Mm-hmm.
number 1, I had Randy versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. That's my Kings list for this week. Next week, we're going to have your top 5 WrestleMania matches. They'll be your list next week.
It's funny because I have my 5 matches right now, but I'll wait until next week.
Yeah, wait until next week. Spoiler, wait until next week. We'll give it to you next week.
Yep.
All right, guys. So this is kind of like a short episode. Normally it'll be longer than this, but I know he had a situation at his house a little bit, so
Yeah.
he'll go take care of that a little bit. So we'll be back next week. Anything coming up next? Anything coming up, bro? You want to talk about or anything?
Nope. I'll be alive.
Well, there you have it. All right, guys. So please like, subscribe, and share the podcast. We'll be back next week with a new episode. Have a good night, everybody.